Tom, it's BBC Essex on Sadie Nine, and we're going to be talking now about a music venue about to close.
Breakfast with Sadie Nine. Weekday mornings from 6. BBC Essex.
Keep your calls coming in about foreign aid. I'm sure we'll be coming back to it later in the programme. But I wonder, where did you go to watch bands when you were growing up? The local pub, the old-fashioned music hall, where was it? Maybe you've seen a well-known artist performing somewhere obscure before they made it big, some little tiny venue. 0300 240 41. Well, the Square in Harlow's been hosting up-and-coming bands and performers since the late 70s. But unfortunately, it's due to close later this month and be turned into housing. Adam Smith is the owner of the venue and joins me now. Morning, Adam.
Good morning.
Why are you closing, Adam?
For the exact reason that you just said, to make way for some housing that's going to be erected on the site.
Oh, was it a choice or were you pushed?
We're kind of pushed. We're unfortunately, well, the people who are the landowners are our landlords. So it's them that are making the decision to change the use of the space there.
Oh, dear.
Kind of, against our will, unfortunately.
Can the council or anyone not help? Have you been offered anywhere else to go?
Well, we've been looking at other options. I mean, the council did actually turn down the plans that were submitted. The developers, when they put in their planning application, it was rejected by the development committee of Harlow Council. Unfortunately, at a later date, that's then been overturned. So that's, against the council's will as well. But, I mean, we have been looking at alternative options, but nothing's come to light yet.
How big a loss will it be to Harlow? I've been down there to the Square many times. I mean, I think Anti-Nowhere League I absolutely loved seeing them there, and it was unusual. They were playing a sort of small venue. They were quite a well-known sort of punk band in their time, and they were brilliant. I love the Square. You also do comedy, I know that as well. So how big a loss will it be to Harlow and its music scene?
Oh, it'll be massive. I mean, I'm from the town, I've lived in the town all my life, but there's people that I've met all over the country who have said, the only reason they've heard of Harlow is because of the Square. And you're right, I mean, we do get big names there. Towards the end of 2015, we did a big campaign kind of highlighting the fact that we were struggling or going to be closing. We had bands like the Buzzcocks come back and play. And, the last time I saw them previously was in Brixton Academy, and then they come back and play a 250 capacity venue because they realised the importance of these venues. So it's going to be a massive disaster for the town to lose it permanently.
Oh, the Buzzcocks there. I missed that one. That would have been a great one to have. Who else have you had down there, name-wise, that we would know?
I mean, over recent years, we've had people like Gaz Coombs from Supergrass. He played just a couple of weeks after being announced as one of the Mercury Prize nominees. But over the years, I mean, bands like Coldplay and Biffy Clyro, Muse, Blur, they've all played at the venue in some form or the other. But a lot of them kind of before they blew up. There's come to light recently a recording of when Coldplay played there. It was actually a BBC broadcast that Stephen Mack put on, and that's that was just before that second single was released. They're playing all the hits that ended up on their first album before anyone had really heard it.
See, and these are the places which we need for up-and-coming bands as well, to be able to work out, and as you say, for the big bands to come in and play a small venue. Let's bring in Mark David. He's the founder and CEO of Music Venue Trust, the charity that represents over 100 small and medium-sized venues in the UK. How disappointed are you, Mark, to hear this news?
We're very disappointed, Sadie. I mean, I find it completely unacceptable, frankly. You've got a town council that are saying that the venue's very important. You've got a developer that's told the planning inspector and national government that the venue is going to be replaced in the plans they're putting forward. So why isn't that happening? It really is as simple as that. There are quite clear planning laws that say that you cannot remove cultural spaces from towns without replacing them in order to do this type of work. That's exactly what's happening in Harlow, and it's not good enough.
Is it happening across the country?
I'm afraid to say it is, and what we see consistently is very well-intentioned, well-designed laws that frankly don't result in the outcome we want, which is great music spaces like you've just been talking about, being able to carry on existing in our towns where we need them. I can't really believe that Harlow, overall as a town, is prepared to see somewhere like the Square not be in that town. I've never been to Harlow except to go to the Square.
Well, there we go. And a lot of friends come up to Harlow and join us when we go to the Square because it's a brilliant venue. Let's bring in Daryl Easley. He's a music journalist from Leigh-on-Sea. He comes in to review papers for us as well. So, Daryl, how important are these venues for bands and musicians starting out?
Oh, I mean, they're immensely important. There's no question that... all of these bands today, and I mean, the Coldplay example cited there is absolutely perfect, that, they need somewhere to play to learn the craft. And, the music has you always told the told story of, the Beatles slugging away in Hamburg and at the Cavern before they broke it. The fact that these places are dwindling is a terrible shame. I mean, that said, fortunately where I live, Southend-on-Sea has always had a very, very strong culture, and there are some fabulous venues still going. But also I was thinking about, I was in the classic teenage band in the 80s, and two of the places we used to play, Focus Youth Centre and the Round Acre in Basildon, have both been pulled down within about sort of 6 months of each other in the past 12 months. 06 used to do a music night, Reeds used to have at the Blue Boar a music night. All those places have gone. And when you hear of a venue the size of the Square going, you think, well, hold on, we've really got to keep an eye on this, because it's one thing having all this technology in your bedroom and garage band and all that on your computer, but you still need somewhere to learn your craft. And I suppose people will say, well, there's YouTube now that I can go to, get 10 million hits and not play to 250 people in a club. But, that can't be lost. That's
probably why some bands are so rubbish on stage live, because they haven't done the live. They're too busy in their bedroom. But when you stick them in front of an audience, they're as boring as hell.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I must say that, Chinnery's in Southend and the Railway in Southend, and the stuff the Thames Delta music people do in Thurrock, there are a lot of there's still places that really believe in it. And, that thing about the Asylum in Chelmsford, which was closing... again, music venues are struggling because there's so many things vying for people's time and money. And, of course, councils say, housing, it's going to bring in more people, which is more revenue. And what about the 250 people that want to go and see, Gaz Coombs?
Exactly. It's a place for bands to grow as well. Thank you, Daryl. What about Mark? Should local councils or government be doing more to keep these venues?
Absolutely, and I think Daryl's really hit the nail on the head there. I mean, this isn't just about Harlow. It isn't just about, that specific piece of culture that's going to be lost in Harlow. It's about the whole country. This is a massive economic benefit to the UK, and the way that we get bands that sell millions records across the world isn't by putting things on YouTube. It's by Coldplay and Oasis touring up and down the country, building audiences. I mean, Adele played 100 of these small venues. How much is Adele worth to the UK economy? And we're going to have no more Adeles because we can't be bothered to take action to support venues like the Square in Harlow. It's just not good enough. It's so short-sighted, and it's very resolvable.
Mark David, thank you very much indeed, founder and CEO of the Music Venue Trust. A final word to Adam Smith. When do you finish then, Adam?
So our last night of live music is going to be Saturday the 28th of January, so 3 weekends away.
Oh, crikey. And who's playing for you? Who you got?
So on the last night, we actually got two Essex bands, which we're proud to have. So one of them's Eddie and the Hot Rods from Southend.
Eddie and the Hot Rods?
Yeah, they've got a close connection with the venue. And they're going to be supported by a local Harlow band, Newtown Neurotics, and an up-and-coming band from Brighton called The Orphans. That's our last night.
What a great lineup you've got there. And can we get tickets for that, or is it sold out?
It's totally sold out.
No!
Yeah, they flew out, those ones.
You couldn't squeeze me in, could you, Adam, somewhere at the back?
I think we can work something out, of course.
Could you work something out? Oh,
yeah.
You've got to use your contacts. Oh, that would be... I'd love to come to the last gig, actually, and do something for us here as well. So that would be fab if I could.
We can definitely sort that out.
Because I will shed a tear. I will shed a tear. I absolutely love the Square. Thank you very much indeed, Adam, for joining us. And thank you, Mark and Daryl, as well. So where have you seen, like, big bands performing and suddenly, they become massive bands, and you go, I saw them down the pub, I saw them at the youth club, I saw them at the Village Hall, I saw them at the Square. Who have you seen at the Square? Who have you seen? Where are the music venues in this county that you wouldn't want to lose? 03